Last year, when my grandfather passed away, he left his cabin to my parents and their kids, which includes me and my two siblings. Honestly, it caught us off guard. We have a big extended family, so it felt unexpected that he'd chosen to leave the cabin just to us. It's in the Jim Thorpe area in Pennsylvania, right on the water, tucked between trees with mountains across the river. It's peaceful, quiet, and really beautiful. About a month after we took ownership of the place, I decided to take my niece, Annie, for a weekend getaway. She was only 4, but she adored my grandfather. I figured it would be a nice way to spend some time in his memory. It was just me and her. We drove up on a Friday afternoon. The weather was cool, but not cold, and the leaves were just starting to turn. We did typical kid-friendly nature stuff, gathered sticks and stones, made little crafts, watched birds. Annie was so easy to be around. She's always been quiet, kind, and well-behaved. Never one to throw tantrums or make up stories. That night, we got cozy in the living room to watch Moana, our favorite movie. The TV is right in front of a huge living room window that overlooks the water and the forest beyond it. We had the fireplace going and some popcorn, and I must have dozed off midway through. I woke up to Annie shaking me, whispering, "Aunt B, wake up." Her voice was nervous, and she was halfway under the blanket. I sat up and asked what was wrong. She said, "There was someone outside the window. A man. A scary man." I blinked a few times, still groggy, and looked out the window. But of course it was pitch black. I asked her what the man was doing, and she just said, "I don't know. He looked hungry." I did not know what that meant. I figured maybe she saw something on the TV, got spooked, and now her imagination was running wild. But her face was pale and serious. She did not look like she was playing around. I told her to stay on the couch and not move, and I stepped outside with my phone flashlight. I did a full circle around the cabin, shining the light into the trees and along the back deck. I did not see anything. I did not see any footprints or any broken branches, nothing to indicate that someone would be standing outside. I came back in and locked the front and back doors. I told her there was nothing there, and that everything was okay. That's when she said something that sent a chill through me. "You didn't see him? He came back to the window. He had a goofy smile." It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. She wasn't crying or whining, just stating it plainly, like she was confused that I did not see him too. But I kept my cool. I told her it was time for bed, and walked her to the spare bedroom. That room connects to the one I was sleeping in, so I could hear her if she needed anything. As I was tucking her in, she looked up at me and said, "Please, Aunt B, don't let that man in." That one hit hard. I told her no one was getting in, and I even did a little prayer with her just to help her feel better. That night, I did not go to sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling and listening for any sound outside. I never heard anything. No footsteps, no creaks, no knocking. But I could not shake what she told me. Annie's not the kind of kid to lie, and she was genuinely scared. The detail about the smile bothered me. I did not want to freak her out more by asking too many questions, but that one part stuck with me. The next morning, it was pouring rain. We made a quick breakfast, packed her stuff, and left by 9 a.m. When I dropped her off, I told her mom about what happened. She brushed it off and said it was probably the movie that scared her, and maybe she had a bad dream. I did not argue. I get it. 4-year-olds say weird stuff. But Annie's never said anything like that before or since. What gets me is how specific she was. She did not just say, "a man." She described him as scary, then said he looked very hungry, and later said he had a goofy smile. None of that matches anything in Moana, at least as far as I'm concerned. I still go up to the cabin every now and then, but I've never gone alone since that night, and never with Annie. I believe her. I don't know who that man was, or why he was there, or what he wanted, but I do believe she saw someone that night, and I think we got lucky that night. Lucky that he did not try the door. Lucky that we left when we did. A couple of years ago, I finally hit a point in my life where I could take a breath. I own a construction company now, my own company. But getting here wasn't easy. I worked on construction sites for years, mostly under guys who treated everyone like garbage. Verbally abusive, unpaid overtime, threats if you said anything. It was miserable. I stuck with it though, learned the trade, saved up, and when I was ready, I went out on my own. The first few years were brutal, but I kept my head down and trusted that God had a plan for me. Eventually, things picked up. I started hiring guys, landing bigger jobs, and now I've got over 100 people on my payroll. Funny enough, a few of my old bosses actually reached out, looking for work. I told them no. Not in a mean way, just no. Anyway, that's just some context. My wife has always dreamed of having a cabin in the woods. She's not much of a city person, more of a peace and quiet, trees and birds type. So when things finally stabilized, I decided to build her one. I did most of the work myself, and when it was finally finished, she was over the moon. Her dream spot, right in the middle of the woods. Now, she's a huge bird lover. If she could keep every bird she saw as a pet, she would. So one of the first things she wanted to do was get one of those smart bird feeders with the built-in camera. You can watch birds eat from it through your phone, and even talk through it if you want. She loved it, thought it was the coolest thing ever. The first night we spent at the cabin, just the two of us, we set up the bird feeder on the front porch before bed, and filled it up with seed. She was excited to check the footage in the morning and see what showed up. That night was uneventful, quiet, peaceful. We did not hear anything unusual. We went to bed around 10 or 11. She got up early the next morning to make coffee, and I was still upstairs trying to sleep in. But then she called me, twice, and the second time her voice had this weird edge to it. Not scared, but definitely unsettled. I came downstairs, and she was sitting at the kitchen table, holding her phone. She looked up and said, "Just watch this." She had the bird feeder app pulled up, and was rewinding the footage. The timestamp said 2:13 a.m. It was a little grainy, with just the porch lights casting a glow out into the front lawn. You couldn't see the trees clearly, but you could see the clearing in the front of the cabin. Out of nowhere, this woman walks into the frame from the left. She came from the woods. No flashlight with her, no bags, and there was nothing in her hands. Just slowly walking around in this, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a brown one-piece thing, like a potato sack that had sleeves. She also had on these stupid-looking reindeer antlers, like something you get from the dollar store around Christmas. She walked slowly across the lawn, turning in circles a couple of times, then looked up at the sky and stretched her arms out. We watched, frozen, as she made her way toward the porch, and then came straight for the camera. She got right up to it, and for about 30 seconds, she just stared into the lens. You could not see anything but her eyes. She did not blink, not smile, not even move. Then she whispered, clear as day, "Out in the woods, you're never alone." She stood there for another few seconds, then backed up slowly. When she got near the tree line, she suddenly turned and sprinted back into the woods. We just sat there in silence after the video ended. I literally did not know what to say. My wife looked terrified, and to be honest, so was I. The whole reason I built the cabin where I did was to avoid other people. The nearest neighbor is at least 10 miles away from where it is. We did not recognize her. I checked the app's cloud storage and saved the clip. I called a buddy of mine who owns a security company and had him come out the next day. He installed floodlights, motion sensors, cameras, all that jazz. I also bought a couple of firearms and locked them up in a safe in the bedroom, just in case. We left that day and did not come back for about a month. It shook us up more than I cared to admit. That was all 8 months ago. Nothing else has happened since. But every time we visit, I find myself checking the app at night just to be sure. I have no idea who that woman was or what she was doing that far out in the woods, but I haven't let my guard down since. This happened back when I was around 18 or 19. I was staying the night at my girlfriend's family cabin. It was a small place, out near the edge of some state land, mostly woods around. Her mom owned it, and we'd go out there on weekends just to get away from everything. That particular night, it was just me at the cabin. My girlfriend, her mom, and her mom's boyfriend had gone out for the evening. I don't remember where exactly they went. Something about visiting someone in town and grabbing dinner, but I decided to stay back. It was already late, and I just felt like relaxing and going to bed early. The cabin wasn't very big. 2 bedrooms, small kitchen, living room. No basement, no attic. Just one level, raised up a few feet on a crawl space. You could hear every movement in that place. Floorboards creaked loud. The dog, her mom's golden retriever, was in the living room. I had gone into my girlfriend's room to lie down, door open, lights off, trying to fall asleep. Maybe 10 or 15 minutes later after I laid down, I heard the back door crash open, and I mean slammed. Like someone kicked it in, but louder than you would expect from a cheap wooden cabin door. The dog immediately started barking like crazy, and I froze. I had not quite fallen asleep yet, so I knew I wasn't dreaming. The dog's barking turned into that panicked, high-pitched kind of bark they do when they don't know what's happening. And then, footsteps. Heavy ones. Someone was walking around in the kitchen. That's when I heard drawers being pulled open. Cabinets, too. Like they were looking for something specific. Fast, rough movements. I did not know what to do. I didn't have a weapon or anything on me. My phone was charging next to the bed. I thought about grabbing it and calling someone, but if this person heard me, it might have made things worse. After about a minute, the sound stopped. No more drawers or cabinets slamming. Then, footsteps again, and this time slower, coming down the hallway, towards the bedrooms. I did not move. I tried to breathe as quietly as I could. My immediate thought was that they had a knife or something, and maybe they thought the house was empty. They stopped right outside the door to her mom's bedroom. Then I heard the door open. Not get forced open, just open. Like someone with a key turned the knob. And that did not make sense. Her mom was paranoid about security, especially in the woods. She had one of those heavy-duty deadbolts installed on the outside of her bedroom door, like the kind you'd see on a front door, not a bedroom. She always kept it locked when she wasn't home. There was only one key to it, and it was on her key ring. But the door opened, and I know what a deadbolt sounds like when it unlocks. That click. There was no click, just the sound of the knob turning and the door swinging open. Then the footsteps went into the room. The door closed behind them, and that was it. No light turned on in there. No movement. No sounds of anything being touched. Nothing. The room was right next to mine, and like I said, sound traveled easily in that house. But it was just silent. I sat there, wide awake, heart pounding, for what felt like hours, but there was no more noise. Eventually, I must have dozed off from pure exhaustion, because I remember blinking awake to the early light of dawn coming through the window. That's when I heard the door to the mom's room open again. Same slow steps back down the hallway. Then the back door opened and shut. This time, no slam like the night before. I got out of bed not long after and checked everything. The back door was shut. No signs of damage, no dirt or mud or footprints. The kitchen looked untouched. No drawers left open, nothing out of place. I walked to her mom's room and tried the door. Still dead-bolted. I tried turning the knob just to be sure, and it was locked tight. Later, when they all came home, I asked if someone might have come by. They looked at me like I was making it up. Her mom even checked her bedroom key on her ring. It was still there. She said nobody else had a copy, and they all swore they never had anything like that happen at the cabin before. I still don't know how to explain it. No sign of forced entry, no signs that anyone had been inside. But I heard it. The dog heard it. Someone was in that house, and for whatever reason, they did not take anything, did not hurt me, did not even say a word. They just came in, went into that room, stayed there all night, then left. It still gives me the chills to think about it.